You heard it here first, people. Jacques Slade is going to go to Augusta National and have these secret clandestine meetings with the people over there. And he's going to figure out a way to bridge the gap between them and Jordan Brand to finally release those golf shoes.
3, 2, 1.
So you're starting the episode today? I guess that's what we're doing?
No, I just wanted to do like the movie voice of like 3, 2, 1. In a world where people listen to podcasts.
Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the Too Hard, Too Fast podcast. I am your co-host, Juan Martinez. And to my left, or to my right, it's the voice of God, Jacques Slade. How we doing, man?
In a world where two people can start a podcast. Yeah, there was Jacques and there was Juan.
In the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Yeah. I always think about like those old NFL films videos where it's like that amazing voice, and I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. I love football.
Yeah.
But I used to really love football. Yes. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. Got a good show for you guys today. Yeah, on the Too Hard, Too Fast podcast, a.k.a. Let's Get Hard podcast. We're happy that you all are joining us today.
We are 30 episodes in, and you're still doing this. I don't understand why you have to keep going back to changing the name. We already have a name. It's the name.
I
would
say it's not changing the name. It's like an AKA. Like my name is Jacques Slade, but people also call me Cousteau. So It's kind of like that. So it's like the Too Hard, Too Fast podcast, AKA Let's Get Hard, or the Harder podcast. It's all an offshoot of the show Hard Pass. So it's like Let's Get Hard, like as part of like the Hard.
You're not the only one with different names. I have different names too. Everybody goes by, like, I'm called Juan, but like everybody knows like the other name that I go by. And then I have that nickname that started in high school because my math teacher was just like, hey, the last 2 letters of your last name, Martinez, Ez. So now you're Ez. And I'm like, okay, great.
Okay.
So I went by that for a big bit of high school. And I'm like, man, we really just couldn't come up with something else, huh?
That's a good one. So like for me, for Slade, so I would be duh.
Yeah, no, Ez and
duh. Actually, I don't know if I don't like that anymore. All right. Moving on. What's happening today?
I just realized that you're duh and I'm Ez. If you put them together, it's D's.
Yeah. That's hard.
No. I just regret doing that. I totally regret that now. I cannot. Nope.
Got you. It works.
D's.
It works.
Nope.
So what's What's happening today, man?
I cannot. Anyways, this start of the show has gone off rails. It started with you taking over the intro, but now
I don't know where this is going now.
Yeah, neither do I. But let's get back to the proper show, Jacques, of Too Hard, Too Fast, and let's talk about our favorite topic, Luka. He returned to Dallas.
Luka the Laker.
Yes, Luka the Laker. Still crazy to think about, even though it's been over a month. But yeah, no, he returned to Dallas, and it was quite the emotional scene. I can't remember the last time I saw a player who was, very entrenched in a particular city, got traded and came back and had that kind of response. Like I've seen like other athletes get like, kind of emotional, but man, Luka was going through it. And it was like, it's kind of touching. I'm like, man, he really thought he was going to be there for the rest of his career. He really thought that was it. Nothing was it.
Yeah.
Everything's all smooth sailing. Nothing's ever going to happen. And then Nico Harrison shows up and is like, nah, you lazy.
Yeah. Shout out to Nico.
No, shout out to Nico though. He did us all a solid, and now he's a Laker, and he went and scored, I think 45 points against Dallas.
Yeah.
And beat them. And good times. But it really felt like, man, Luka really felt like he got stabbed in the back there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say stabbed in the back, but you definitely see how he had grown attached to the city and to the fans and that arena and like all the things really that kind of build that, that you would expect a player to do who kind of had such a great career really in that city. And he just, he wiped away a tear and then turned it on and did what he does best, which they just didn't believe in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me that he led the team to the finals last year, and something happened in between then and now he's a Laker, which, of course, we're the proud beneficiaries of. But it's still wild to think about. Like if this had happened to like like Luka had gone to a different team, it would still be like wild to think about. Like how is Luka on the Knicks? Or how
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Luka
yeah,
in Miami now? Like it's just hard to believe because you always thought he's one of those lifers. Like in an era
yeah.
where there's a lot of player movement, you figured someone like Luka, someone like Giannis, someone like Joker, which we'll talk about in a second. You figure those are the types who are like they're just gonna stay with those teams forever, and it's gonna be like a Tim Duncan or a Kobe situation where they just stay with one
Yeah.
team. But man, that is the reality is like nah, we it's a different era, and if players like to move, owners are just like nah, we're just as petty as you guys. If you
Right.
cross us, or if we see something that we just don't agree with anymore, we are not above trading you or sending you somewhere, regardless of whether you like it or not. But yeah, man, it's just yeah, man, it's a different era. So when can we expect Nikola Jokic to come to the Lakers, Jacques? Because their coach just got fired, and the first thing I saw when I went to Reddit was a Photoshop of Joker in number 15, Lakers purple and gold, number 15. My first thought was like, yeah, of course this was going to happen. Of course, everybody's going to get ahead of themselves and just expect that Joker's coming to the Lakers because he's not going to be happy in Denver anymore. But my other thought was like, oh man, there goes Austin Reeves' entire like marketing thing is AR-15.
They would never ever let it would be another basketball reasons.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that because Denver would never, under any circumstance. Well, I'm sure there's circumstance, but there's no way that Joker could ever make it here to LA.
Yeah, yeah, the people, the people, the NBA Twitter talking about the conspiracy theories. Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine?
The LeBron hate would go through oh my god, I don't even want to think about it. Like the
Could you
LeBron
imagine?
hate, the conspiracy theorists, all the things that you think could happen. I mean, it would have to be like it would be like when KD went to Golden State. It might even be it might even be worse than when KD went to Golden State.
Because Joker's already a champion, and
Yeah, it would be. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think
no, you
about it.
do. No, I think we should think about it. Let's manifest this into reality. Joker to the Lakers. I think we should manifest that into reality. Could you imagine
So
how insufferable the show would be? So much more insufferable to like certain fans at this point because we already
yeah.
do it to
Certain people that watch Hard Pass would definitely have to tune out at that point. I mean, just
and we'd be like, we understand.
gloating.
At this point we get it. With the Luka thing, we're like, come on, guys, like whatever. That's circumstance. Like stuff happened. We gave away Anthony Davis. We gave away. It's
Right.
not like we gave up anybody. We gave up like a future Hall of Famer, an All-Star, top NBA 75 player.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. But if somehow Joker were to come to LA in a trade, not a free agent signing, but in a trade, who's realistically we'd have to give up? LeBron's not going anywhere. It would have to be like Austin Reeves and like Dalton Connect, and man, that would make everybody go nuts.
Yeah, we love Austin here in LA. We love Austin.
Not as much as we would love Joker, though.
That's true. That part is true. That part is true. Yeah, but it would just be unfair. It'd just be unfair. And I feel like something wouldn't work right. Like it'd just be too good to be true kind of thing. Something wouldn't work right.
Something's like, it's like the monkey paws, like be careful what you wish for, or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
one call will curl, be like, oh, you got Joker and Luka, huh? Oh, and LeBron's still there. Like, just wait, or something like that, right?
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't need that energy. We're fine where we are now. We'll we get a couple little minor pieces here and there to make the puzzle complete. It's championship time, baby.
But if Denver were to ever call, though, we are willing to listen. As representatives of the 17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers, we'll be more than willing to listen, though, if Denver were to ever call for whatever reason.
We would be willing to listen. However, if they called, I think the only thing they would call would be like, "Can we have Luka?" That would be their conversation.
Yes, that would be the start and the end of that conversation. It would be like fair,
yep.
fair play.
Great question. Thank you for calling. However, we're going to go in a different direction. We appreciate the thought. The thought experiment was fantastic.
Although Luka for Joker Nah, we can't do it now.
No.
It would be too much. It would break Luka. I think it would also break Joker. Although we could offer him Santa Anita Park. Like, hey, you have your, carriage horse racing. Like, it'd be like Santa Anita Park. It's all yours, man. It's all yours, Joker.
Yeah.
You want to start a league? We will start a league of like carriage horse racing for
That's
you here in
funny.
Santa Anita.
That is funny. Yeah, I could see that happening.
That would be the ultimate perk. Like that should be part of the negotiations. Is like the Lakers like find a way to like get that for Joker. Man,
Yeah.
that'd be funny on a lot of different levels. But yeah, no, I'm just saying that would be funny. Anyways, though, the Lakers, their playoffs are coming. They have like 2 games left to go. They could either be the 3rd seed or the 6th seed or whatever at this point. Who even knows? But how are we feeling? How are we feeling now that we are just just a couple of days away from the playoffs?
I mean, we're feeling positive about things that are coming down the pipeline. I think we're in a good position. I think we could do some damage. We could do some damage, especially as they start to gel more and more. I think that we could do some damage. I don't see a reason why we can't get to the Western Conference Finals at least.
Yeah, and compete with like Oklahoma City, who, we did just beat like this past weekend, although we did lose the following game. But it just shows you that they're competitive. And my hope is that they stay in that 3 seed, so they would end up facing Houston in the second round. And Houston, they're a good team, but they're also inexperienced. They don't have like that playoff, like, experience that, they would have to rely on to really get through. Although they do have like Fred VanVleet, who's won a championship, but I don't think that's enough. But, you have Luka, you have
that's
LeBron.
not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough. And they have like, bum ass Dylan Brooks, but that's just going to be funny. But yeah, no, I just hope that it's going to be the Lakers stick to that 3rd seed so they can get Houston in the second round, which would give them a better chance than if they would have to face Denver or Golden State or wherever in the second round. That would be a little bit tougher. So
yeah, we don't want that energy. Yeah. We don't want that.
Although if we do face Denver in the second round, Luka's like, hey man, it's great here in LA. Weather's nice. There's a lot of ranches.
Just whispering to Jokic all the time. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, Joker, but we got horses in LA.
We got
horses.
We got ranches. We got anything you want, man. Anything you want.
He could have a ranch in Colorado, to be fair.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has that. He has all of that.
Yeah.
But the weather's nicer here in LA. I'm just saying.
It is. The weather is nicer, but he might enjoy that cold. You know what I mean?
So yeah, no. We got hopes. We got hopes for the playoffs, but yeah, no. We're also hoping that Joker jokingly comes here to LA because of the light of recent events.
Yeah, but he's got that. He might enjoy that weather in Denver. Make it feel like home.
Yeah, man. Like, he's established there. Realistically, there's probably no way that would ever happen. But it is funny that everybody's first thought was, oh, there's dissension in Denver. He's coming to the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, the way they fire the coaches, you never know what they're thinking about over there these days, and there's no telling what's happening.
Yeah, I think like the Grizzlies fired their coach too. Just a lot of like crazy mid-season happenings. Yeah, a lot of movement. And like in the middle of the season, you don't expect coaches
right before the playoffs. Like I the conspiracy theorist in me was like, oh, like he did something that they don't want to talk about, or him and the GM did something that there's something going on that they're just not willing to tell us about, and so that's why they got fired. They're just like, oh, it's playoffs coming, we don't believe in him. Okay, that all right, but that ain't why you fired him, but we get it.
Watch, it's like another Nico situation where like it turns out the GM's like, yeah, he's lazy, he he's out of shape, and I'm like, it's a coach.
That would be funny.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
that should have been their PR release, making fun of the
coach's conditioning. I'm like, what?
Of the Luka. Yeah.
Talk about that.
That'd have been fantastic.
Oh my gosh. It's like, why would you care about the coach's conditioning beyond just hoping he's like in shape and not like, a sloth or something like that? But yeah, anyways, that is just been an interesting couple of weeks in the association, which, makes for interesting content everywhere. But anyways, moving on to other interesting content. Jacques, have you seen this new ad by Adidas with Anthony Edwards featuring the one and only Ice-T?
Is this that's not a new is this new? Is there a new version
It's
of it?
relative.
Because I
I
saw
think it's a
one
new.
like a month or so ago. I think they
Has
had
it been a
one.
month? Oh, okay. So it's new
Yeah.
to me, but yeah, there's this crime scene ad where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ice-T's walking over and like, it's Anthony Edwards dunking on somebody, catching a body or something like that. And then eventually he also, I guess, dunks on, kind of alludes that, Anthony Edwards is also dunking on Ice-T. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty funny ad, pretty creative. It's just in
Yeah.
line with what we've seen from Adidas lately. They've been kind of on a hot streak when it comes to the Anthony Edwards ads. Then we got like a post on social media from Steve Stout, who a lot of people know. And I guess he runs a marketing agency. And I guess at the time in 2000, I believe it was 2003, they ran a very kind of similar ad, like a crime scene ad with Reebok. And it's
Oh,
also featuring like,
really?
yes, and there's like players at the time. It was like 2003. So we had like Steve Francis, Baron Davis, Jason Richardson. And it's got like a similar thing, like, police tape, like, officers checking the scene. They didn't have like the big celebrity like Ice-T, but they had like the tape, outlining the body and all that stuff. And it was like, oh, it's kind of
Ah,
similar. It doesn't have the same, it's not exactly this, it's not one to one, but it has a lot of the similar elements. And Steve Stout was like, hey man, just cut us a check. Let us, appreciate the homage, even though you never, called it out
right,
directly.
right.
So I thought that was like, oh, that's an interesting situation. Like, did Adidas see that ad before and thought it'd be a interesting, like, way to like pay homage to it or copy it? But yeah, it's just one of those things that I saw. I was like, oh man, that's a like we got like we are now in the era where we're seeing like remixes or homages of like previous ads, whether intentional or not. That's the thing, is Adidas hasn't said anything of whether it was intentional or not, or if they
Yeah.
even seen that Reebok ad. Wait, was it what at the time did Adidas own Reebok already? I'm not sure, but
I don't know. When did Adidas buy? Let me look at. I'll look it up and see when Adidas bought.
yeah, they bought Reebok, but they also sold off Reebok recently. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they had like similar marketing agency. I mean, PR firms and all that stuff, and but
Yeah. It says
yeah, it's
Adidas bought
just
Reebok in 2006.
not 2006, so it was before that. So Reebok was still like their own entity in 2003.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like, what do you think about that though? Like, do you think maybe Adidas did that on purpose, or was that just like a wild coincidence, or is it like, man, it's been 20 years. I don't even think I don't actually remember seeing that Reebok ad in 2000, whatever, like 2003. I don't even. I remember a lot of Reebok ads during that time because it was like the height of Allen Iverson, his work with Jadakiss and all that stuff. That's the stuff I remember, but I don't remember this specific
Yeah.
ad though. So I don't know if it was like a widely like, ad that you saw on TV at the time. So, well, I mean, what do you think about
Yeah.
like this?
I don't remember the Steve Stout ad, but like I feel I feel like I've seen versions of this sort of style of advertising before.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know
Or
if I
like,
remember
you
anything
break an ankle or
specific.
something.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not completely new. Like it's not a new idea.
Right.
And even then, I don't think when Steve and Stout and them did it, it wasn't a new idea. So
Yeah.
I get. I think it just brings awareness to that they did it before more than anything else. I don't think Adidas actually copied them. I would be shocked if this was Reebok copying them and not just a
Adidas copying
coincidence or
them.
somebody or yeah Adidas copying Reebok. Or I would just think this is probably just one of those things of like people seeing this sort of advertising style of like the crime scene, like they've seen
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
before. Like
Yeah.
it's happened. There's been iterations of it over over the past I don't know how many years. So I don't see this as being something like revolutionary that Steve and them are doing. So
Right.
with
Like I
that,
could imagine.
I get it.
Yeah, like I would imagine like N1 has probably done this before too. Like, when they had like there's t-shirts back in the day in the 90s when they had like just really wild slogans like, come get you or
Yeah,
whatever and all that stuff. Like I could imagine they have a t-shirt like that. Like it also like when you thought about like, we've seen it before. Like I remember like Kobe's like, ankle insurance. Like, when
yeah,
someone would get crossed over, maybe there was like a scene where like someone's like, down on the floor, and maybe they even did like the police tape thing there too. So Yeah, it's not but the way that Adidas executed it made it kind of funny in the way that they did it too, and also getting Ice T in there was also kind of like a
Yeah,
funny
getting
bit.
Ice T
So
was the if
that
it
was
wouldn't have
that
been
was
as
it. That was the
effective
thing.
without Ice T. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Ice
because we
T
know.
because he's on a crime show, like that just made it pop so much more and made it, for me at least, it made it pop so much more and made it funnier to me because he's like the perfect guy for something like that.
Have you seen Phil Mickelson's custom Air Jordan 1 lows? It's
Yeah.
it's something.
It's a thing. Okay, there's a couple. I have so many thoughts about this
I
because it
do.
just
Same, same,
takes
same, same. Okay, okay, let's do this.
it
Let's do
takes
this.
my
Okay, okay.
mind in so many different places.
Let's
One,
let's do this.
I I like the energy
Okay.
of custom sneakers in golf. I
Okay.
like that thinking, that sort of like, let's do something different, let's create something specific for this tournament. If
Hmm.
like they do it for every major, like I like that idea. I like that sort of energy and that sort of personality being shown. Um, on the flip side of it, it's and it's not necessarily feel, but it's feels, and this is going to be like a little bit ageist here, but it's feel is actually, it's not even really ageist. It's just feel doesn't come off as cool, I
Wow.
guess is the best way to say that. And
Wow.
not that, and again, this is not to say Phil's a bad person or anything of that nature. It just Phil doesn't come off as cool. We don't see Phil as like the cool guy. And so these feel like the country club guy, and not that I see Phil as a country club guy either, but this feels like the country club guy that wants to be cool wearing Jordan 1 lows because he feels like it makes him cool, or it opens up that door of coolness for him. So on one hand, I'm excited for it and I like it, but on the other hand, it kind of perpetuates that, oh, I'm cool because I bought Jordans. No, that Jordan 1s don't make you cool kind of thing.
Hmm.
You see it a lot. There's tons of country club golfer guys that have Jordan 1 lows, and like this is Jordan Brand's fault because they released all those Jordan 1 low golf shoes. They somehow that translated into, oh, these make me cool, but they don't make you cool. And you can see all these country club guys wearing Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows on the golf course because they think it means they're cool. No, it does not. You just overspent on a pair of golf shoes that are honestly not very good golf shoes. Anyway,
Wow.
that's end of my rant. I'll step off of my soapbox now and drink some water.
Okay. On behalf of all the golf bros out there, Jacques, which I am not a part of, I can imagine anybody who hears this is like, but I wear Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows. Am I not cool, Jacques? What? But what?
That is for you to determine. I can't tell you whether you're cool or not. I'm just saying, in my mind, Phil isn't the fashionable cool guy. Like
Was it
Phil
ever a
is
time
the
he
all
was?
black. I don't
The
think
what?
there ever was a time that he was. I don't think there
Okay.
ever was a time that he was. But at the same time, I do like the fact that he's doing custom sneakers or custom golf shoes for tournaments. Like that's dope. I love that energy. Actually, fun fact, the first one that he ever did, he did with Dom with Shoe Surgeon.
Yes. It was at the U.S. Open, right? I believe like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple
Was
years
that the
ago.
one? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't
did
yeah, I
have.
don't remember what tournament it was, but it's good to see. It's good to see this kind of energy around the Masters tournament for sure.
Right. My first question when I saw those customs, the one that I think he wore in particular, the one that has like the years that he won, and it has the
Mm-hmm.
jumping Phil silhouette, which I'm still disappointed there's no like place I can buy that hat. Like I've always wanted that just for ironic purposes. It's just like, man, look at this guy just jumping Phil because he thinks he's so
Jumping
cool.
Phil.
I think he's so cool. But anyways, but it also has the Masters logo on it, and my first thought was like, why hasn't Augusta come to like lay the hammer down on Phil? Because they're very protective of their brand. They're very much like, hey man, we don't like anybody kind of even alluding to our stuff. because it brought to mind like the Jordan stuff. What was it, a couple of years ago that got canceled because reasons? Because I mean, it kind of looked too similar to the colors,
Well,
and maybe there
well,
was like
this
the
one's a
logo,
custom, so it's not going to be manufactured. And then Phil is a
right?
Masters. He is a winner. So maybe that gives him a little more leeway than the average golfer or a big brand kind of thing. This is not really a big
Sure.
brand doing it. This is just Phil doing it for his shoes kind of thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know.
they let what was it, Sergio that walked around last year in the Sprite
Oh
looking
God,
outfit?
that should have been banned.
That's what
What
I'm
was
saying.
that
If
thing?
they
That
can let
abomination that he
Sergio,
was wearing last year? Oh, geez. If we're gonna talk about things that should have been banned, like what Sergio's outfit last year should have been banned from like that should have kept him out of the Masters forever. Jeez. Ugh.
if Sergio
Woo.
can get that fit off, then I think Phil's shoes all right.
No, first of all,
Okay.
Sergio did not get that fit off. That was terrible. That was he should have been never allowed back into Augusta National for that. By the way, going back to the live card, live cards that we opened. I don't know if you noticed when we every time we pulled Sergio, we were like, nah, not gonna deal with that. Not a fan. So yes, there is a very long standing beef between our family and Sergio. It's a very one sided beef. Obviously, he has no idea who the hell we are, but yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, no, Sergio should have been banned for that. So no, I was just because of how Augusta is very protective of their image. And yes, I
Mm-hmm.
know Phil Mickelson is a multi-time champion at Augusta. He probably does have more leeway than your typical golfer or brand or whatever. But at the same
Yeah.
time, that was my first thought. Like, if you got to keep it a buck though. You got to keep it like you got to be consistent with that kind of stuff. Like if you're gonna get mad at Jason Day for wearing whatever he's gonna wear at Augusta, you kind of have to like kind of set the precedent and be like, hey, Phil, what are we doing here, man? Like, I get it. Like, it's a custom and all that stuff, but it's like,
Yeah, but
just kind of
Jason
have to
Day
like
is
throw it out
wearing
of
it's like it was a non-masters thing. You know what I mean? Like that's why they're salty about that. And speaking of Jason Day, they actually had him. He had to show them what he was going to wear this year before. Yeah, they were in their feelings about it for sure. They're like,
Oh
nah,
man, they
fam.
actually had to like
Yeah, you got to fit off
pre-check
last
it.
year, but you're not getting to fit off this year. We're not allowing that.
Oh man, but there was also, I guess, another like besides the green and white pair, there was also like an off-white custom, I guess, that Phil has on deck, but I don't think maybe he's already worn it for the tournament, but like it's more of an off-white.
Yeah, it was he had two. There's two of them that I've seen
Right.
so far. Hold on, let me go. There's the
But yes, for those who don't know, Phil during like the practice rounds, he wore a green and white Jordan 1 low that had like the years that he won and also like the Masters logo. But then there's a second one that I believe is all white, but it's based on more the off-white Jordan 1 low. Well, it's a
yeah
low, but it's got like the off-white branding, like the lettering for Phil. But again, these are customs. These are not like a collab
yeah.
with
You don't
Nike or
be able to
anything like
buy
that.
these anywhere. It's definitely more of an off white pair at the same Jumping Phil logo, and it's like off white for Phil, Augusta,
Yes.
Georgia. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a cool like. I almost see them as they look more like art pieces to me, or than like are like trophy versions of things, as opposed to like something that he would actually wear. I don't know if he's gonna wear them on the course. It would be cool if he wore them on the course. I'm just not sure if that's in Phil's best interest to wear them.
Yeah, like I said, it was just shocking to me just because of like how the Masters has just been like very strict about that kind of thing. But maybe this is part of them opening up. Maybe who knows? Maybe next year we'll get more, guys on the tour wearing more Masters themed stuff that's not gonna, you know, get Augusta National all upset. Basically, my thing, Jacques, is just I'm kind of sad that we never got that Jordan thing, that we never got that Jordan 11. I'm so
I
sad
think
that we
we're
never
all
got that.
sad about that.
It's like, come
Everyone is
on,
sad
man.
about
Those are
that.
cool. Like, as
Yeah.
somebody who um as somebody who has never been like the biggest fan of the Jordan 11 low, like those particular Masters pack, the green with the prayer hands, I was like, man, those are cool. I wish I could buy a pair and then convert. Well, I would hopefully get two pairs, right? Like, one to play and one to convert into like regular shoes. But
Yeah.
that's not the case. It got canned, and I'm like, oh man, what a bummer. And I
Yeah,
can't knock
that's one of the
Augusta.
one time. That's one of the few times where I've been like, like that sucks.
Like, come
Yeah,
on, guys.
that sucked.
It enhances your brand. It actually helps. Like, it gets people aware of the Masters, and it's like, yeah, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do. They are the billion-dollar entity that they are for a reason. And yeah, no, it's just I just thought it was a little thing that could help, but it is what it is.
They
Well,
should do an
anyways,
official. They should do an official collab. If I ever get a chance to talk to the people at Augusta, I would love for them to let Nike and do that officially. Maybe they give the money to charity or whatever.
right.
But I don't know. That was such a cool execution that people were excited about.
You heard it here first, people. Jacques Slade is going to go to Augusta National and have these secret clandestine meetings with the people over there. And he's going to figure out a way to bridge the gap between them and Jordan Brand to finally release those golf shoes. It's going to happen, people. Just next week.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Jacques is going to come back with like a full report and tell us how those meetings went. It's probably going to be like
How
in the
those meetings
basement, in like, I'm sorry, you're probably going to be like invited to like those champions dinners and like all of those secret
All right.
places and
All
that
right.
stuff.
Now we're just lying. Now we're just lying.
You gotta keep people what they want. They want to know what really goes on behind the scenes with Jacques Slade. They want to know, man.
Yeah, this is me doing podcasts. This is what goes on behind the scenes. Prepping for this is what goes on behind the scenes.
Oh, unbelievable. Well, anyways, Jacques, we are towards the end of the show, but we got a special request in the comments.
Okay. Okay.
We have, on the last episode, we had somebody in the comments. His name is Kurt, and he said that, hey, why don't you guys do a sneaker Mount Rushmore of Carmelo Anthony? To which to which I saw, and I was like, oh, we'll go do that. And also got me thinking, wait, we haven't done Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus in a while. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It actually has been several episodes, and it wasn't because of any reason. We just didn't do it. We were like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right. We that was a bit that we did when we started the show. We
started the show, yeah.
But thanks to Kurt, we are going to bring it back. Maybe we'll bring it back for future episodes. But today, we are going to be doing the world's favorite sneaker segment. It's Sneaker Mount Rushmore time. Do the thing.
No John Morant. Got you ready.
No, John Morant.
Sorry, that was inappropriate.
The John Morant thing, that was the grenade. Have you seen the grenade celebration?
Yeah. He had to switch it up. It's terrible. That was a terrible joke. I apologize, John. That was wrong. That was wrong.
John Morant and the Lakers?
No, that's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. Like but I guess I would have said no Luka. I would have said no Luka to the Lakers either. But here we are.
If anybody wants to Photoshop John the Lakers, that would be very funny. Just with the grenade celebration and all
possible.
that is yeah. So anyways, let's do Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus for Carmelo Anthony, recent Hall of Famer announced, and now it's official. Last week I think it wasn't official, but now it's official. So now let's do a Sneaker Mount Rushmore for Melo, and today we're going to be doing it. We usually do it like, what is it? One OG, one non-OG, one PE, one wild card, and so on. Today we're going to be doing 2 signature Melo shoes from his line, the Melo line, and then from his vast array of player exclusives, we're going to get 3 player exclusives. So I do not know who started this, but I guess I'll start. So for my pick for Carmelo Anthony signature shoe, I'm going to go with the Melo M9 because those were the first Melos that I ever got. In particular, it was a Syracuse colorway, and I guess the inspiration for that M9 was like the bridges in New York, and it had like that design. It looked like the bridges and everything, so I got the Syracuse. Well, it could be also considered a Knicks colorway because it's orange and all white and orange and blue, but I did get that one in particular. But yeah, no, so I'm gonna go with the Melo M9.
Okay, I like that. For me, I would go with the Melo M10. In particular, the Black History Month colorway.
Oh,
that
those
year,
are
the Black
nice. I
History
remember
Month,
that.
yeah, had like this purple hue kind of to them, and they tied it into the M10, and it looked really, really nice. They did a really great job with that one. That whole collection was dope, but like the M10 was like it stood out even amongst those that were like next level as well. So that's where I would place my vote.
Right. All right. So my next pick for the mellows, I think I'm just gonna go with the easy one. I'm gonna go with the 1.5 and the original
Yeah.
powder blue colorway. I remember seeing that and thinking it was pretty cool, paying homage to the Air Jordan 1. And it's a cult classic. A lot of people are huge fans of that, and they're always begging for a retro. And yeah, no, it's definitely like a feather in Mel's cap. Because like I said, we've talked about previously on the show and on Hard Pass, people always like to talk derisively about non-signature Air
Yeah.
Jordans, regardless of whether they're actually signature shoes for other athletes. But I think the 1.5 in particular has like a special place in a lot of sneakerheads, is like heart.
Yeah.
So I think so I got to go with that one.
Yeah. For my next one, I would go with the Mellow and Made Advance. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember that one. This is when like Jordan
vaguely.
Brand was playing with like different like makeups for the shoes once they
Hmm.
released like this. So this is like the Advance was like his playoff version kind of, and so it had like these like changes to it. Like the upper had like fly wire in it. It was just a like a different style shoe. So that's kind of I don't remember any colorways in particular. I just remember the shoe. I think they had like a white one in particular, but yeah, it was just a different kind of. It was like definitely more playoff oriented.
Yeah, no, those are neat. Like I think they have like I think that was like the era of like the hyperfuse Flywire
Yeah.
era.
Yep.
So yeah, and that's an interesting thing that they've kind of abandoned. And I guess maybe just because of like, maybe the shoes weren't selling, but the idea of like
Yeah.
a playoff shoe, that was definitely like
Yeah.
during that time where even LeBron's, Kobe's, what was it, like the Elite Series. So yeah, it's an idea that maybe someday comes back, maybe it doesn't. But, I just thought it was an interesting era for Nike for trying things and, kind of making it the narrative that, once it's playoff time, it's tougher, you need more of like, stability or whatever, or something like, more like an armor almost for your shoes and all
Yeah,
that
like an
stuff. So
armor for your shoes. Yeah, that was kind of like the storyline. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And they let go of that when they weren't selling. But anyway. So much for armor. Good luck
They
with
tried. They
good
tried.
luck. Good luck with your regular season shoes, guys. You are on your own.
Wow.
Anyways, so let's now it's on to what everybody wants to see. The player exclusives. Carmelo Anthony has a huge variety of player exclusives throughout his career. He has been the
Yeah.
beneficiary of care packages galore from Jordan Brand. And yeah, man, he's up there in terms of like PEs. I would still argue Ray Allen is still probably better, but Melo is no slouch. And so for my first
Yeah.
choice for Melo player exclusive, I'm going to go with the Air Jordan 12. It's the one in particular that is white and baby blue. There's a lot of different varieties for Melo and with the Jordan 12s, but the one that has like the mud guard that is baby white and baby blue. So
So I'm going to go with the shoe that you hate, the Air Jordan 13
how dare you?
in the white and baby blue. It just looks clean, man. It looks clean with the I can't deny it. Like it just looks clean. I know you hate the 13, but it looks good in this situation.
It's a white and baby
Sorry,
blue
bro.
sneaker that has a stake slapped on top of it. That's what it looks like.
Wow. Nah, I don't know if that's the word I would use, but yeah.
Now, if they made these into golf shoes, I think I would be okay with it. I think I would actually be quite interested in it, actually.
The
Like a white and
high?
baby blue.
Huh.
No, the low. Jordan 13s
The
were
low.
always
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, Jordan 13s golfs were always low, I think. But yeah, I think I would appreciate those in the low. All right, moving on to my next pick for mellow PEs. I would go with the Air Jordan 5 PE that I think is for Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
Um, yes, and I think famously that's the one that PJ Tucker got a hold of, and Melo responded on social media, was like, "What the hell? How did he get those?"
How did he
And
get
almost,
those?
yeah, in a joking way, almost like PJ went to like Melo's house and like took him or something like that. They kind of made it like a joke, and I thought that was always a pretty funny story, and kind of just shows you like how much sway pull PJ has, that he's able to get like these
Yeah.
kinds of PEs, even though he's not a Jordan athlete and he's not like, you know, high up on the food chain when it comes to like the hierarchy. But, you know, man, shout
Yeah.
out to PJ. Like, he's able to acquire these things. And, you know, when you are able to get someone like Melo to be like, what the hell? I think you're doing something right.
Yeah. And it keeps PJ's name in the news where it wouldn't normally be, just because he's not just like a top level player.
Right.
All right, for my next one, I would go with and there's not even one in particular, just the Air Jordan 2 when it comes to Melo. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like he had like, I don't know how many PEs of the Air Jordan 2, so
He was definitely a fan.
have to throw that one in the mix. Yeah, that one got a lot of love from Melo, and I mean, and to be fair, they're comfortable, so it makes sense at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the Jordan 2 has always been like a love-hate relationship for me. Like, you know, it's like there are days where I'm like, oh, those are good. Those are, I don't like, I can't with those. I've always been just a fan of the lows, though. The lows I've always been like my particular favorites when it comes to the Jordan 2s. All right, so for my final pick for Carmelo Anthony's Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus, I'm gonna go with something that I did not know existed when I was looking up, like, you know, Melo PEs. It's the Air Jordan 20. It was a collaboration with Rag and Bone, which is like this not luxury brand, but kind of luxury brand. You kind of see the like Nordstrom and Bloomingdale's and that kind of thing. And it's a Air Jordan 20 that has Flyknit. I did not know this existed until I looked this up, and I was like, it came out in 2018, which kind of explains it, because that was like during the time when I was not doing the sneaker stuff as much.
Yeah.
So it came out during that time. So yeah, it's a 2018 release. There's two colorways. There's a olive and orange colorway, and then there's a black and I guess that's a gum sole colorway, but it's the Air Jordan 20 in Flyknit. And I gotta say, I'm like, I know the Air Jordan 20 is very divisive in the community, but
It is, and rightfully
I've always
so.
had like, yes, rightfully so, but I've always had fond memories of the 20s. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that because I didn't even know it existed, but I thought it was pretty cool, an interesting take, a Flyknit Air Jordan 20. Like, it's just something you just don't even think about. And you're like, oh,
yeah, that's
a
a deep cut. If there was ever a deep cut, like that's that's the deep cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I gotta find something.
And I'm looking at it
good
right now,
now.
and I'm like, oh, those are pretty. Yeah, and like I gotta shout it out because, like I said, it's one of those. It's very cool for me because I'm like, I didn't know this existed. Oh, you can keep looking for yours, but like, it was just one of those like moments where you're like, that's
Yeah.
it's just a really cool thing because you think you're like, when you're in this job, right? You see everything, you think you've seen everything, and you're like, nothing really like shocks you anymore. But then something like this just pops out of nowhere, and you're like, oh,
all right, I'll take that.
yeah.
All right,
Not everybody's gonna be a big fan, but for me, yeah.
Yeah, for my last one, I'd go with the Air Jordan 4 Olympic Melo PE from 2008. It had the laser etching on it.
I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know what is that.
It had like the laser etching.
Oh, I've seen this. Yes,
looks super clean. Yeah. Like they're super clean. I forgot about them until I just looked them up. I was like, I don't remember. That's a good one. You got to throw in the mix.
Yeah, it's like blue and it's got like the laser etching on it.
Yeah, it's got
cool.
that like
USA.
It's like that USA PE. Yeah, like that's a good one. That's a good one. They should release these to the public.
Yeah,
I would buy those. I would buy those.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these. Like, you know, does it have any Melo specific branding or anything, or is it just like something that was made just for him?
I think it was just made for him for the Olympics. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an auction on Sotheby's. Or they were available. They were available. I think this was like 2024.
Okay.
It's a sample size 15.
Well, that doesn't mean
it doesn't say if it was sold. Yeah, you know, maybe PJ already has these. Who knows? But anyway.
Yeah, size 15 does not help me at all. So there goes that.
No, we are several socks away from being able to even
several socks.
Several.
A pack of socks away.
A pack. And the thick ones too. Not even like those simple, like, you know, not those no-show, not even those no-shows kind of socks. We're talking about like the elite, those elite socks.
Yeah,
those Nike elite socks. When you get, yeah, totally. Well, anyways, that was episode 32 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Congrats to Kurt for helping us bring back Sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus.
Yeah, anyways, shout out to Kurt, my man.
Yes.
My man's.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Yeah,
So
for
you
those
can
that are watching, you gonna close? All right, close. You close?
Okay, I'll do it. So thank
Okay.
you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave us the 5-star ratings on the Spotify's, the Apple Podcasts. If you have any questions, concerns, and complaints, just know that I will not read that last one. You can always send them to the mailbag. It's the Too Hard to Pass Podcast at gmail.com. Again, that is the Too Hard to Pass Podcast at gmail.com. That is the number two. Number two. So, yes, thank you again for watching, listening, and all that good stuff. I am your co-host, Juan Martinez, and Augusta
I am
bound
Jacques Slade.
Slade.
I'm Jacques Slade on his left or his right, and we'll see you guys or talk to you guys next week. Peace.
All right, peace.